Hey, good people of Bethany Union Church, Chicago. Pastor Larry here. I have a little video announcement, a little video meeting. Isn't technology great? So as you're viewing this, it'll just take you about 4 minutes. If you would, I think it's important, and I think you think it's important as well. So we're going to be talking about youth and children's ministry. And we're going to ask that all of the things that you've ever thought of, that you've ever been part of, that you've done, to remember just for a moment. Sunday school, vacation Bible school, youth groups, children's choir, holiday pageants, summer camps, all of those things in days gone by, in yesteryears, worked. And they worked well for a while. But now we're at a different place, in a different place in time, and we need to ask, what would the Lord have us do now? Today. What is it today? Now, what we did got us to where we are at. So we have to remember the things that we did, that we bemoan and, nostalgically look back at and think, well, if we just did them again today, well, they'd get us the same results. And that is where we are at. And so using the same things that got us here aren't going to get us out of here. So we have to think anew. We have to wait on the Lord and see where He would have us go. So where are we? Well, we're not where we want to be. That we know. Where do we want to be? And what does the Lord want of us? Those are the questions we really need to discern and ask. I have a vision that has been born at my almost 3 years of time here. I've listened to your hearts and listened to the Lord's, and I really think that what we want is a healthy, robust, life-transforming ministry for the whole, holy human. That's really what we need to do and what we want, no matter what our size. If it's 1, 2, 3, or 3,000, we want to have a life-transforming ministry. If it's truly of Christ, it has to be and can be. And that's what I want my life to be a part of. Healthy, robust, life-transforming for everyone, not just youth and kids, but for all God's children, of whatever age. So, what does that look like? Now, we always have a tendency to jump back and do the things we always thought of. It's sort of like when the disciples saw this new thing on the Mount of Transfiguration. They saw Jesus and Elijah and Moses, and they'd never seen anything like this before. And Peter responds, "Let us make 3 booths." Well, you see, booth making, the festival of Sukkot, is something that they were used to. It's something that they knew. So Peter was trying to use an old category to enshrine and to hold this new thing that God was showing them. And of course, that doesn't work. So we got to think outside the box. We got to ask, in this time and place, what would God have us do? Not like we've done before, but like we're going to do in the near future. So, Bethany Union Church of Chicago, what shall we do? Once upon a time, we had the kids coming, right? They were all coming. They were coming into the church. But one of the things we did, and everybody did it, they just had this idea that, well, when it comes time for service, for worship, we'll send the kids out. We'll send them to Sunday school. We'll send them to youth group. We'll send them to children's church. We'll do something. And this is what got us to where we're at today, you see. The kids done left. And they didn't come back because they had learned, though it wasn't our intention, but they had learned by our behavior that we didn't think worship was a place for them. We didn't think the church service was suitable to them, or they were suitable for it. They made noise, or they just couldn't sit still, or they didn't understand, or whatever. Well, I don't know anybody that understands fully everything that's going on. I certainly don't. But we're not there for us, we're there for God. And that's a fundamental lesson we need to teach our children. We come to worship God, not to get out of it, but to put into it, to participate with our faith family in our prayers and in our singing and our hearing of the Word. And that is what is important, not what we get out of it, but as we participate in it. So, questions. What do we do? How do we most faithfully serve our community? That's really what we got to ask as Christ Church. How do we serve our community? Not how do we get the community here to, be for us, but how do we serve the community? We are placed here to do this very thing. So, we start where we are, with whom we have. And we ask you, the ones viewing this, these questions. In addition to participating in Sunday worship, what other period of time would best work for you and yours for some type or kind of youth and children's activity? But not only children's activity, your Christian education as well. When we become members of Bethany, we say a covenant that we believe in Christian education, and to sustain that. That isn't kids stuff. That's for all of us, because lifelong learning is what the Word of God calls for. And until you got it all, know it perfectly, and I certainly am way, way far away from that, I got to keep studying, I got to keep learning, I got to keep exposing myself to the glorious mysteries God provides. So in addition to that Sunday morning worship at 10:30, what other time might work? So let's look at some possible options, and I want you to consider these. Worship is at 10:30, so 10:30 to 11 or 10:30 to 11:30, we're all together in worship. So one possibility is to hold an education hour before worship begins. Say it begins at 9:30 and it ends at 10:30, right in time for worship. We would end by having all the kids in the sanctuary with a little devotional close, kids and adults who's ever participating, and then the parents would meet them there and we would begin worship. Now that's one possibility. I don't know if getting people here at 9:30 is something that if we're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot, is that a realistic thing? I don't know. What's your schedule like? What is best fits your lifestyle? Another possibility is to have the Christian education time immediately after our service, from 11:30 to 12:30. Combine it with our fellowship hour. Have it go to worship and then go into fellowship hall for our education time. We would do a one classroom style using Share Faith video-based curriculum that we have. It comes as a part of our website. It's excellent, theologically sound, visually spectacular. It is really good stuff, so it'll keep the interest of every age group. We could use that and our adult options, because kids will learn if adults are learning. If kids don't see adults doing it, they don't want to do it either. They don't think, well, this must be kid stuff. It's not worth anything. So we need to, really learn ourselves and be a good witness of learning. So adult options could be we could help with the children and youth in various capacities, such as monitor help, just being there, in small group facilitator for one of the age-appropriate groups that's meeting there, or general on-hands help. Or the adults could attend choir rehearsal at that time. Have choir rehearsal after worship instead of before. We might even increase the number of people that'll participate in the choir rehearsal. As the kids go off to, and other people go off to education, they could be rehearsing in the choir. Or they could take part in an adult sermon discussion group right after the worship service. Or another class on another topic we could provide for the adults. So plenty of things for the adults to do while our youth and children are also learning according to their developmental levels. So worship is at 10:30. Another possible option is late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, and we could follow that with an alternative evening worship service, if we wanted to. I don't know how your lifestyle is, if coming back at 4 or 5 in the afternoon is something that would meet your needs, or would, be good, or maybe not so much. You gotta let us know. So, here we go. We've got options A, B, C, and D. A, before having the worship, or the Sunday school before worship. B, after worship. C, later in the day. Or maybe you have another idea. What we need to know is which one, after you think about it, are you willing and are you able to commit to participate with? Would it be better to have the kids here earlier, 9:30, and then worship at 10:30? Or would it be better to just all get here at 10:30 and just stay after as we do for fellowship hour and have our education at that time? Or later in the day? Which of these would work best, do you think, for you, your neighbors, your friends, your family, as we spread the Word of God? So I need to know. And the only way I'm going to know is if you let me know. So call me or text me, email me, snail mail me, speak in person, send up smoke signals. But do let me know. Give me some feedback. What are you thinking? What would work best for you today in the here and now? Bethany Union Church of Chicago. God has put us here in this place now for such a time as this. He wants us not to stop, but to keep going, spreading His love, mercy, and grace. So let me know. God bless.